Alright. Why hello there, welcome back to EU4. Today we're going to continue on our quest to form the Roman Empire as Ryukyu. Now last time we got our ass handed to us by corruption. See, corruption was really expensive right when the game came out, when Mare Nostrum came out. But there's been a little hotfix since then, in which they've made the crucial change to corruption in that it's no longer a percentage of your income, even though it still says that in the tooltip. Something that needs to be fixed, but it's no biggie, as long as it does what it does. That's like the most important part. It is no longer a percentage of your total income. It is based on your development. Right now I've got a total development of 498, and I believe it takes this number and then multiplies that by 0.05, and that would be putting the slider up to the max. So, you know, to put that into perspective, 46% of my income is right now is costing me 6.63 ducats, whereas before the hotfix, so that was before this afternoon, because the hotfix was this afternoon, it would have cost me right about 20 ducats, and now it costs me 6. Now this is not going to make that much of a difference unless you've already set yourself up for a change like this. Now, I happen to have set myself up for a change like this. But that was for a completely other reason, a completely different reason, is because I didn't think they would nerf corruption, because, you know, I was busy on the forums, and, you know, they seemed pretty adamant before, so I was like, okay, well, best we'd have to, it would be better if I just figure out a way around that shit. So I did that. I figured out a way around the previous type of corruption, because this is just completely different, right? But because it was based on your yearly income, on your total income, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll just, you know, get maritime ideas and then ask trade power off of a whole bunch of people. And then when the time came to pay down corruption, because I was planning to ignore it for a bit, and then, you know, save up money, so I'd have like 1,000 ducats, and then I would you know, embargo everybody in the world so that my trade efficiency goes down to 1%, because you can do that, and then you cancel the trade power agreement so that you completely crash your income to jack shit. And then you root out corruption, because it used to be based on your income. That said, that's no longer necessary. Also, this is a different game from the game before, because I was trying to figure out, you know, is it just me trying to stay animist? Maybe that's like the biggest gripe, the biggest problem in terms of corruption. So I tried to make a game where I played as a Hindu, and just, you know, played Hindu Ryukyu, but I overwrote my previous save, so I had to do this again. So this was done half, like 50% of this particular run, like this save file that you're seeing right now. Half of that was done before the hotfix, and half of that was done after the hotfix. So I guess I can show you the cool timeline feature now to show you exactly what I did. So, go. That's pretty cool. So, let's see here, because I did this in a pretty clever way, if I might add. Brunei almost fully annexed Kutai. The only province that they didn't took was Bulangan, because I had that occupied. So I was immediately able to vassalize Kutai, and then I took all of this off of Brunei, and then I only kept Tarankan, Berau, and Kutai. I didn't keep any of the other stuff because the other stuff is Sunni. Sunni is a little bit harder to convert. So I didn't want to keep that land. I gave that land away to my vassal, and I've enforced religious unity on his face. So, oh, apparently clicking on that button cancels the timeline. Well, that's quite unfortunate. We'll get back to where we were. So, and then if you're over here and you've cored this and made it into a state, then Bhutan is most likely going to, yeah, you can already see what's going on here. Bhutan will send you an offer to become his ally, even though you can't see him, he can see you. You're both animist and you're like one tick away. And then you can just ask him for maps, and you can eat Makassar and Luwu, and I know CB this. You should do it. Should do that as well. It's totally worth it because these islands have a particular modifier which I'll get into later. And then, you know, we just annex this using the same trick that we did as I showed you. And then we, you know, just ate this. And then came a couple years of me doing nothing because I was figuring out, you know, how am I gonna do this Keynesian economic thing, which I had thought out. And then, you know, hotfix fired, so it wasn't really necessary. So I just, you know, declared some trade wars on Khmer, Ayutthaya, and Pasai. And they're giving me an exorbitant amount of money right now. Because of that trade node. Because of the trade power. Which is a really important thing to take into account, considering corruption is now based on your development, and development does not take into account trade. So if you know, force people to give you trade power, then your income increases, but your development does not. So if you do end up being corrupt, it doesn't matter as much if you know, if you're very dependent on trade. So how do you get the CB on nations that you don't share an ocean tile with? Yeah, I know CB'd Kutai, and I know CB'd Tidor, or Ternate, I don't remember which one of the two. But these provinces, for example, are really useful in the whole fight the corruption thing. Because these provinces have a modifier called the Spice Islands Local Goods Produced +3, which makes these provinces disproportionately valuable compared to their development. So if you have provinces like these, then you have lots of provinces, lots of money to spare, because this development, this is 13 development, but it's giving me so much money that it may as well be 30 development, you know? That's what the good produce does. It's amazing. If you build this production thing here, that gave me half a duck in a month out of a single province. Like, that is insane. Like, there is nothing that comes even close to that. Well, maybe, perhaps Kalaba, because it's in control by the merchants. But, With corruption tied to development, you don't want crappy land. Gold provinces are king. No. Not having a crappy land, it doesn't matter. Crappy land, bad land. The most important thing, and this is absolutely crucial, is that you demand trade power off of people that have power in trade nodes that make a difference for you. And you need to conquer land that lead into your trade nodes, or that brings your trade node closer to an end node, or whatever. You need to, now more than ever, focus on the trade nodes, and that, I think, is, you know, it's gonna lead to good gameplay, I think. Also, building buildings actually makes sense now, and also taking massive amounts of loans and using the loans that you can take to pay back previous loans is no longer really something you want to do, still, even with the nerf to corruption. But I quite like playing like this, to be honest. I mean, I've done 2 runs now like this. The first one being absolutely, you know, that was really hard. Like, I could see it work, But it was really hard, and the only way I could see it work was by extorting literally everybody for their money, which is why I picked Maritime, and why I have such a big navy. And Maritime gives you extra sailors, so, you know, that's kind of why I have such a big navy, because I was under the impression that the only way to play this game anymore was just to, you know, fabricate trade conflicts and everyone. But, you know, they've made it really reasonable now. The fact that it's based on development means that you can actually do something about it, which is, I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, this would cost me 20 ducats a month right now. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And now it's just, it's amazing. Got any closer to the no religion, no culture dream? No, I haven't looked at that, to be honest. I was in quite a hurry to get this situation back to where it was before I stopped playing. Because I trust the sound and everything is alright for you guys. Let me know if the music's not too loud or too soft. There were a couple of people on YouTube that were scared that it was not loud enough. I mean, that my voice was not loud enough, so... Let me know if the sound and everything is alright. The province I'm referring to is called Cape Verde. It's off the coast of Africa. Did I finish Jewish One Faith? No, I gave that up. I want to keep this fort because I've got money. I think I can afford it. Also, my truce with Japan is going to be over in about a year. I think I'll be focusing on that. When can I build a spy network again? The 4th of October, alright. Now, I do need to not get stuck in conquering almost all of Asia, as I probably will end up doing. But I don't need to do that. In fact, I think the current situation in Malaysia serves my purposes just fine. You see, these people are giving me trade power, and that's making me disproportionately rich, and I quite like being disproportionately rich because that means I make tons of money, right? So I quite like that. Also, you guys probably want to go protect trade in Malacca. Give me even more dosh. You know what? It's actually more profitable to... No, it doesn't make a difference. Like, it doesn't matter whether you go from Canton to Philippines. Wait, hold on. Does that make a difference? 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2? Yeah, I know, that does make a difference. It's better to go from Canton to the Philippines and then down here and then down there. Just, you know, throwing that out there. Sound is okay? Fantastic. But yeah, man, holy shit, the battle on the forums. It was amazing. People were slaughtered. It was... Ooh, it wasn't pretty. But, you know. Really happy that they went with the development to corruption, because now it makes sense, too. Like before, if you had a state that had 10 provinces, and then you do something, you fidget your merchants around so that you would make more money, all of a sudden you would have to pay more money to root out corruption, even though you have the same amount of officials? That makes no sense. So now it makes sense in a logical way from a gameplay perspective, and, you know, in every way possible, it makes more sense now. You can tweak the numbers all you want. You could even make it a little harsher. I think it's fine the way it is now, but, you know. I like it. I like it conceptually now. So. Go after China, then form onto Rome. I don't know, I've been thinking about just no sea being ahead, Hormuz, and kind of going from there. Although that would immediately put me at odds with Ottoman allied with Muscovy there. So that's not gonna be pretty. But I do need Iraq. I need Iraq to be able to form Rome. This batch is all about making money. Well, no, it's not all about making. But the previous batch was all about not having expenses. And now it's all about making. If that makes any sense, I hope that does make sense. Because, you know, before it was just about making sure that you didn't have expenses, or not a whole lot of them, and crashing your economy right before you paid back corruption. Which I had a really cool system set up for you guys, but it seems like it's not necessary. So I was like, yeah, I'm totally gonna break this thing and then, you know, show you how to deal with that, but looks like that wasn't really necessary. I'm pretty sure in the end I would end up paying even less than I'm doing right now, but it was tedious though, and it would still slow you down dramatically too. Alright, the Koreans are already on 80%. I suppose we'll move our army back to the mainland and start paying for it. Which I'm still making money even though I'm paying for my troops and I'm paying down corruption. Can you believe it? I never thought I'd live to see the day. And I've got an army now and a really strong navy. Too bad Ming collapsed though. I would have loved to force Ming into giving me trade power. That would have been amazing. But alas, Ming collapsed. Should probably see building a spy network on that guy. And we've got 100 spy points on Korea. I guess we'll go spend them. Hi Stinky Fight 69, how are you doing? Is it worth gaining more land than the max amount of states? Sure, I don't really see the point in making much more of my land into states. I mean, I'll do it if it says my income is going to increase, but and I don't have the admins, I don't have, you know, better places for my admin to spare, but really, the state territories shit is amazing, if you think about it. Like, before you'd have to use vassals and, you know, conquer land on a different continent just to get that bonus. And now you don't need that. You don't need to go over to a different continent and make a vassal wall. And be all, oh, how the fuck am I gonna do this? I want to take this land, but on the other hand I want to not pay too much for it, so how am I gonna do it? Now it's all smoothed out. It's no longer this fidgety, ash clenching thing. So I like it. I like that a lot. I like that a fuck ton. Also, we moved our capital down here at the start of the game to make the states over here cheaper because it's based on distance. And of course, you know, we wanted to move our capital here anyways, so that our trade capital would be in Malacca. So our trade capital is in Malacca now, and you know, this is a pretty big province. It's 19 development, so it's nice to have that at 0 autonomy. Oh really? The new daimyo has Western unit graphics? Oh wow. Good thing they get killed a lot. I haven't seen them rise to power, it's always just Hosokawa and Japan. You do realize that when you complete this run, people say it wasn't legit because you didn't do it before the corruption nerf. There was literally 3 days in which I could have done it before the corruption nerf. Besides, I've already picked Maritime. Even though, I'm telling you guys, Maritime... This is a really strong idea group now. Just play with it. Just do it. Just play with it. Just play with it. It's wonderful to have such a strong navy. And just to ask everyone for their trade power. It's amazing. Especially now that trade power doesn't cost you a relation slot anymore. There is literally no limit on how many people you can dow and ask for trade power. There's no limit. And all you need to do to win that war too is just blockade. Because if you blockade them, you'll have like, you get ticking war score, so you get 25, and then all you need is 5 more war score from blockading their provinces. And then you'll have 30 war score, and trade power is only 30 war score if you declare a trade conflict CB, because it's half price. So all you need to do is just blockade. It's amazing. I love that CB. I love that CB. It is truly amazing. Now, we've got a little bit of a rebellion on their hands, and, well, you know. I'd like to at least have equal numbers on them. I mean, the time for rebellions to be bigger than my army is over. I will not be dealing with that nonsense. However, my units are pretty strong. We picked quality, so my unit should be fine. Although, you know, his units get the same thing. That's alright. Oh, and I was culture converting some crap. Hold on, let me get the music back. Oh man, I haven't logged in yet? Jesus. Ah, too bad for you. There's totally stars. Alright. Loud. Alright. If at any one time the music's too loud, please let me know. Yeah, Maritime's really strong. No, it didn't. But if you're playing as an animist, it's quite difficult. But if you play as a Catholic in Europe, I mean, even as any Western power, you can just let your corruption go to 100 and you'll still be fine. I mean, what the fuck though, bro? Really? Ah, that annoyed me. Sick. You can try getting to 100 corruption as a Western power. Good luck with that. Even if you don't spend any money on corruption. It's like all of the land is Catholic anyway. Like, what the fuck are you gonna... There's no way that you're ever gonna get any trouble. And if you do, then you're absolutely retarded. But... yeah, well... As an animist, it's a little bit more difficult. But that's making animists even more fun to play now. Even more fun than they were before, which, you know. Just fun times, man. Just fun times. Right, I think my truce with Japan just ended. Yep, my truce with Japan just ended. I do still have overextension and my clergy are a little bit uppity. Let me just go check if I can do something about that. Well, I can. They're gonna be bitching about not having enough land, but at least they won't, you know, take over my shit and be all like, yeah. I'd really rather not have them be all like, yeah. Alright, time to go fight Japan, though. Apparently I can only declare trade dispute. Or I can declare holy war using, you know, I've got religious, so... What is that called if I'm, Oh, a crusade is it? A crusade! But I'm animist! Well, I guess I'll roleplay with it. Deus Vult, motherfucker! sometimes when you're carrying troops, you won't do battle when an enemy navy arrives, so you gotta like unselect one of your ships and then you'll go fight him. And more light ships, fantastic. I feel like a total Aruma with all these light ships, but I like it. And I just took a loan. I was about to say. Not in the business of taking loans. Not anymore. Loans are still bad, okay? Now, Japan is not to be trifled with. I mean, they have a pretty strong army. Even though I've got more morale than them and more men, they still have a wee bit more discipline. I can grab that cavalry combat ability. That seems nice. I could tech up, but if I get one more idea, I get tech cost reduction, so I kind of want to pick that up. The spirit wills it. The pig wills it. Wait, really? Really? Silly Japan, you can't beat me. I've got maritime ideas. Get the fuck out of here. Hello? Maritime ideas, bro. Oh. Well, that all seems fine. Now, I was making way more off of trade a second ago, so I don't really know what happened here. Oh, I know what happened. Langzhang ate a huge part of the people that were transferring trade power over to me, so I need to go fabricate myself a trade conflict with these idiots, because they're being dicks about everything. Too bad that they're allied with Khmer, so that would put me at war with Khmer, and then I lose my trade power with Khmer. So I'll have to figure something out. I'll use the stab. Who really needs the stab? Stabby McStab stab. Okay. Apparently he wants to do battle in Zetsu. I'll be more than willing to incline. Not what I wanted to say, but okay. I'll roll with it. Here we go. Yeah, my army is not very well set up for, you know, sieging things down. But, hey, we fight well, and we're cheap. It's the way I like it. I've been doing most of my fighting with my navy. And, you know, I like it so far. Really liking this whole naval shenanigans thing. Don't know what's going on over here. Well, at least I didn't lose my ship. Maritime is the one that makes your ships repair out of coast. Yeah, well, the biggest modifier is this though, naval force limit plus 50%, and then the national sailors plus 50%. All the other stuff is just, you know, filler. It's mostly just, and the blockade efficiency really helps out. The rest is filler. But then again, in quality ideas, that one is important, that one is important, that one is important, that one is important, and then that one is important, and the rest is kind of, I don't know. Maybe morale of navies and ship durability might come in useful for me because I've got such a big navy, but way back when I was like, oh, those are those silly ideas that you just have to get through to get to the final, the finisher for an extra 5% discipline. And, 10%